For tonight, if you have weights and would like to use them, you're more than welcome to. A lot will be led through with little hand weights. You can also grab cans of soup or basically anything that is a little bit of weight, even 3 pounds, something that might give you a bit of extra weight or challenge there. A blanket as well, I advise, just because we will be on our knees here and there, and also on our side hip. Even a pillow is fine, just something that you can use for support. If you have a blanket, you can go ahead and lay it out in the center of your mat already to get started. If you have a pillow that you want to use or something that can support, just keep that nearby the center of your mat on the side, just so you can pull it into place whenever we get onto our sides and onto our knees. Throughout class, we will be doing some things on our wrists and more, and just at any time, I want to say, please feel free to stop the pose wherever you're at. If you need to take a break, you can find a pose that is comfortable to you. So most often that could be something like child's pose, and I'll just demonstrate that here. So sinking the hips back to the heels. You can also just sit back. Anything that's comfortable, just feel free to break as you need. So let's get started. If you have your blanket, bring your hips onto it on the center of your mat. Make sure your weights are on either side of your mat and towards the top. So if you're lying down, they'll approximately come to your elbows. That's just going to, the bottom of them will come to your elbows. That's just going to help us later for smooth transitions. And it's helpful to maintain them in those positions throughout class. If you have a block, you're welcome to put that towards the front of your mat within reach. And again, weights and block are completely optional. If you do not have those props, you do not need to use them at all during class. However, I will lead certain poses instructing with them. All right, let's lie down. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. And then exhale, sigh it out. Let's do that again. Inhale through the nose, nice and deep, big breath, biggest one you've taken today. Hold it at the top for just a moment. And then exhale, sigh that all the way out. Last one, inhale through the nose, biggest breath yet. Hold it at the top. And then exhale, let that go all the way out of your body. Palms face resting up. Maybe wiggle the toes, switch the hips back and forth. Just release stress, anything from your day, from your body. Maybe find a little wiggle through the whole body. And then come to a place of stillness. I invite you to close off through the eyes for a moment, if that is comfortable to you. And if you are familiar with ocean breathing, you may begin so now. Ocean breathing, the inhalation comes through the nose. The slight constriction of the back of the throat allows you to hear that inhalation. And exhale again through the nose with that same constricting sound. So your breath sounds a little bit like an ocean wave. Approximately the same count in as the same count out, and a breath we'd like to try and maintain for the entirety of class, pairing our movement with our breath. On your next inhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Take your hands and clasp over the shin and give the ankle a few turns one way. and the other direction. Then bring that foot back to stillness. Bend the left knee and place the ankle of the right foot against the knee of the left. So we're kind of making an angle forward. We'll reach our arms in and take hold of the bottom left thigh. And maybe this is as far as you go. Flex the toes on the top foot. If this is too much or straining, you can always just bring that foot down and reach. If you have hold of the thigh, feel free to start bringing that in towards your chest to wherever you feel it, but don't necessarily strain. It's very early in class. We're just starting to feel our limits, feel where our body is at as we enter this class. Keep your breath going. Maybe every inhale you draw it in a little closer. And exhale, find a little more relaxation. And then release all together. Let the legs go back long. Give a little wiggle. Notice if the legs feel different. And then tuck the left knee in towards the chest. Hands can come over the shin. And begin to rotate through the ankle. Go one way. And then the other. Waking up our ankle. And then bring the foot to stillness. Bend the right knee and place the left ankle across the thigh, right towards the knee. Reach down. We're going to take this to the other side. So reach through, thread the needle, it's called. Use your elbow if you like to press the knee away and draw the foot towards you. Noticing how this side feels compared to the other. Keep your breath steady. And release the legs down. Keep the knees bent and heel toe the toes out to the side of your mat and find a little windshield washing side to side, sending the knees side to side here. Then slowly bring that back to center. Heel toe the feet towards each other. Reach down for the thighs or bring the knees up to help you. We'll take a rock and roll forward. So really starting to get some energy flowing through the body. If you're like, nope, not doing this tonight, you can just take it slow or just hug the knees in and eventually roll over. But in a couple more rolls, we'll come up to a tall seated position. And whenever you're ready, bring yourself up nice and tall. Let your spine be really, really long. Take a moment to bring the palms together at chest center. Bow your head towards your hands. And thank yourself for showing up tonight. We are in another lockdown. We are in another year. And it's amazing that we can still gather online and that you've come out. We're about to challenge our bodies, challenge our minds, and we're here to do this together. The first step, the hardest step, is getting to the mat. So thank you for joining me. Tonight's theme is strength. We've got strength through this pandemic. We have strength in numbers. We are practicing together. We still congregate. We're going to think about strength as we move through poses, finding solidness and stability. Come forward onto all fours. Let's go. Shoulders over wrists, and hips over knees. Setting ourselves up here, get a nice grip through the hands. We'll start by extending the right leg back, flex the toes and kick through the heel. Left arm, send it forward, so opposite hand to leg. Palm faces in. Option 2, spread the fingers wide, but just activate through the fingers however you like. Holding this. Now zip up, engage through the abdomen. Press away, press the heel back, press the middle finger all the way forward, reaching out, extending, and then press the mat away with your hand and knee that are still on the ground, pressing the ground away like you want to rise to the ceiling. Lift the back heel a little higher for 3, 2, 1. Release the leg and the hand. Take that to the other side. Extend the left leg out nice and long, really strong, powerful here. We won't let this pandemic get us down. Right arm extends, palm faces in. Press forward with the arm, press back through the heel. And imagining your foot is the hands on a clock. Turn the big toe down to 6 o'clock. Heel should be at 12 o'clock. Extend the neck. Remembering it's an extension of our spine, so nice and long, tuck the chin. Reach, press away from the mat for 3, 2, 1. Let that go. Sit back on your heels. Bring your palms together, interlace the fingers, and we'll get a little wiggle going side to side. And then see if you can switch that going the other direction. Kind of plays with your brain. Feel free to come back to this anytime you need a wrist release. All right, release the hands, give them a good shake. Let's come back down. All fours here. Option to take your weight with your right hand. Press the ground away from you. And take a moment to come onto fists. So you're on your fists and you can see your wrist is straight here. So when you're on your fists, your wrists are nice and straight. Feel free to take that anytime because we will be here a lot. And as you can see, when you bend your hand, you're really getting into the wrist. So feel free to also go up. That's just a wonderful modification there. All right, holding that weight, holding this position, draw the belly button in, really engage there. And we're going to lift the arm out to the side. For 1, bring it back. 2, bring it down, pack the shoulder in tightly. 3, 4, really lifting out to the side as best as you can. 5, shoulders in. 6, try to keep the torso as still as you can. 7, 1 more, you've got this. And 8, bring that weight off to the side. Center yourself again. Left hand takes left weight. Bring that back to center. Press the mat away. And we'll lift up for 1. Pack that shoulder blade nice and tightly. 2, squeeze those shoulder blades together. 3, 4, straight out to the side. Try to keep that wrist as straight as you can. 5, 6, 7, last one, you've got this. 8, nice. Let that weight go off to the side. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Tuck the toes under, send the hips back and up. Find a downward facing dog. This might be your first one of the day, so pedal out your legs as you need. Big bends in the knees. And come back to your breath. Eventually bring your feet and legs to stillness. Send the hip bones high. Press your chest towards your legs. And then drop your heels a little bit more towards the ground. On your next exhale, bend the knees, come forward back to all fours. Sit back on your heels and take the wrists up in front of you, 90 degrees. And begin to flick water off the fingers as fast as you can. So really, really, really good and gentle in some ways, strengthener for the fingers. You can feel activating down through the outer arm. All right, give that a shake and let's come back to all fours. Take hold of your weight. This time bring the elbow or the arm back a little bit and pack the shoulder blade in. So when I say pack the shoulder blade in, you can see they're kind of separated. Draw them back. So we're getting a nice flat back. So you're really drawing that back. So instead of rounding forward, you want to draw that shoulder blade back, squeezing them together, and draw the elbow now up to your sides. We're going to get a nice 90 degree. Keep that nice and strong. Then lower the waist, lift. Getting in some nice rows here. 2, 3. Trying to keep the torso as still as possible. Draw the abdomen in. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. Release the weight off to the side. We'll take it to the other side, left. Take hold of your weight. Again, place that weight in the center. Pack in those shoulder blades. Nice and tight, squeezing a pencil between them. Lift the elbow up. Nice and tight to the side, and we'll do some rows for 1, 2, lowering and lifting. 4, 5, 6. Keep the elbow nice and tight to the body. 7, 8. We'll do 9 and 10. We'll even that out a little bit later. Left side's often weaker. Come back to all fours, release that weight, tuck the toes under, send the hips back and up, downward facing dog again. Maybe this time there's a little less pedal through the legs. Nice and strong here, pressing the mat away. On your next exhale, bend the knees, come back down to all fours. We'll take their weight in the right hand again. Lengthen the spine all the way through the neck. Draw the belly button in and pack in your shoulder. Trying to keep this position, this stillness. Extend the arm forward. 1, 2, if you can, up to your ear. 3, 4, 5, keep that shoulder packed. 6, 7, you can do it. And 8, release that weight, take it to the other side. Left hand grabs the weight, nice and tall. Set up your foundation first. Pack in those shoulders. Try to keep this position nice and still. Belly button draws in and lift forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let that go. Send that to the side. This time, spread the knees wide, toes together, hips back, child's pose. Feel free to release the wrists, turn them up, or bring them back to your ankles, releasing the shoulders as well. If your arms are back, extend them forward. Come back to all fours. Tuck the toes under, send the hips high, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward. Step the left foot forward. And then pivot the back toes down. So nice bend in your front knee. Come into an awkward lunge here. Take hold of your weights and walk yourself to face the center. So if you have the blanket, it's still there in the middle. Take a moment to turn the toes in towards each other. Ooh, I'm getting a big outer leg cramp. And then bend the knees. Draw yourself all the way up. So toes are facing in. Weights are optionally in your hands. And then with the weights, bring them in front if you are holding them. If not, feel free to just let your arms go down. Try to pack in those shoulders again. So shoulders draw back and slowly keeping a straight spine, find a forward fold. As soon as you have to compromise your forward fold, stop. So as soon as you compromise your straight back, try to keep your back as straight as you can. And once you feel like you have to round, then release the arms down, find a nice rounding. Try to go straight as long as you can. Maybe sway side to side. Get a little movement in the hips here. And maybe you release the weights and walk your hands back. Breathe about 3 deep breaths here, maybe releasing through the mouth, in through the nose, exhale it out. In through the nose, exhale it out. Last one, in through the nose, exhale, let it go. Forward folds are so wonderful. They're cooling and they're a great way to relax the nervous system. Just something to think of before bed as well. Walk your hands back, take hold of your weights, lengthen up, straighten the spine, nice and strong. Draw that abdomen in. And then start to lift up, bring the hands to your hips, lift the rest of the way up there, keeping a little safety as we go up. Pivot the left toes forward to face the front of the mat. Back foot stays as it is, and we'll bend that front knee, taking a warrior 2 legs. Take a gaze over your knee. You should see your big toe, meaning your front left knee is opening out, opening behind you. Try to get that knee on top of the ankle, nice and strong here through the legs. So firm up, feel as if the feet are drawing towards each other. So really active, grip the mat with the feet. Now that we have that strong foundation, lengthen up through the spine, draw the belly button in, shoulder blades go back, and now extend the arms, option to have the weights in them. Take your gaze forward over your front hand. Try to keep your wrists as straight as you can. Try not to bend them or arch them in weird ways. Just extending them straight out through that middle knuckle. Shoulder blades back. And we're going to rotate the arms now. So we'll rotate, turn the palms to face the ceiling, opening outer rotation, and then rotate down, inner rotation. Open, outer rotation, palms face the ceiling. Rotate down, inner rotation, palms face the floor. Do that a few more times, maybe matching the movement to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. One more rotation. You got this, keep breathing, belly button in. And the next time your palms come to face up, lengthen that front leg, reach the arms up. Let the weights clap. Exhale, bring your hands down to your side. Bend back into warrior 2. Hands are at your waist. Inhale, lengthen the front leg. Pivot the toes so they're facing in. Hands are at your hips or waist. And we'll turn the toes slightly out this time, bringing the heels closer together. Slide your hands down your thighs and start to bend the knees. So we're looking for a goddess pose. Again, I always love to add movement to my poses. So feel free always to move and dance. Just kind of find your way into these poses. I find sometimes we just so statically go in, we sometimes hold and then we're uncomfortable, but if you dance a little first, you might find a better position for your body. All right, once you feel nice and strong here, draw the feet together, firm up through the glutes. An option to keep your hands here, or if you'd like to open your shoulders a little more, just let your weights and hands go back behind you. Maybe interlace the hands and feel that help to open your chest. Feel the weight help to draw you down a little closer to the ground. Hold for 3, keep breathing. 2, 1, bring your hands back to your knees. As you straighten your legs, slide your hands up your thighs. Pivot the back toes and right foot faces forward this time. You can do it, we're almost to a break. We're taking this to the other side, bending that knee, finding our warrior two. We'll be doing the same arm rotation shortly, but start by getting your foundation. Grip the mat with your feet. Back left foot at a 45-degree angle. Right foot nice and straight. Bending that knee, so it's right above the ankle. And now lift the arms. Belly button draws in. Draw those shoulder blades together. Pinch the pencil. Look forward over that front right hand. And now start to rotate. Getting outer rotation, opening the palms to the ceiling. And then inner rotation, turning the palms to face the ground. Keep those shoulder blades together. Nice and tall. Firm up the abdomen to protect the small back, the lower back. Nice, nice and strong. We've showed up to the mat. We are strong together. We are strong alone. COVID will not win. One more rotation here. Eventually finding your palms to face the ceiling. And then straighten the leg, reach the arms up nice and high, nice and strong. Pivot that right toe in, so toes are facing forward to the side of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Release those weights. Maybe grab opposite arms and just sway from side to side. Let the legs do the lifting here. And then slowly bring your hands to your hips. You can leave the weights on the mat. We'll come all the way up to standing. Pivot the left toes forward. Bend into that front knee. Lift the arms out nice and wide, warrior two. Try to keep that torso nice and tall. Take your gaze forward. Flip the front palm, let the back right hand come down, lift up, exalted warrior or reverse warrior. Keep a nice bend in that front knee. Keep in mind this is a side stretch, so trying not to feel any pinching or pain in the back. Really trying to just feel extension through that front right side. One more breath here, in through the nose, maybe sigh it out through the mouth. On your next exhale, come back through center. Windmill the arms all the way down. Bend the back knee, bring it down to the blanket or mat. And reach for your weights, just bring them off to the side. Set them up again as you had at the beginning of class. We're taking a nice low lunge here. Open your chest forward, shoulders back. Breathe here. Send your hips down towards the mat, stretching through that front right thigh. One more breath. Neck nice and long, and then start to walk your hands back. Sink your hips back and extend your left leg. So we're looking for a half pyramid pose. Back knee is bent. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Just think length, and maybe you stay here, or maybe you start to lower the chest a little bit, really stretching out the back hamstrings and calf of the left foot, left leg. One more breath, nice and strong and long. And then exhale, release. Fold over the leg. Let all the power go. And slowly replace heel to toe. Walk your hands forward, bend that knee. Tuck under the back toes. And send the left leg back. Bend the knees to the ground. Big toes touch. Find a child's pose. Take a few deep breaths here. And slowly bring yourself back up to all fours. Tuck the toes under and find downward facing dog. Send the hips nice and high. And step forward with your left foot all the way across the blanket. Walk your hands to the side. We'll come back with our toes facing in. And we'll walk to pivot the left foot facing the back of the mat. Bend into the knees. So we're turning ourselves all the way around. And windmill up. Find a warrior two. Nice and strong here, find your foundation, then flip the front palm, reverse your warrior, left hand comes down perhaps to the hip or down the leg, right arm reaches up and back and extend. Feel your breath expand the front or side right ribs there. Feel the skin stretch. Option to take your gaze up or down to your back foot. Just listening to your neck and what it is so asking for you from this evening. And when your next exhale comes, bring yourself back to a warrior two. Windmill the arms all the way down. Pivot the back toes, bend the knee. Untuck the toes, so we're finding a low lunge on the other side. Scissor the hips together, right hip comes back, left hip forward, nice and strong, powerful foundation. Chest is forward. Breathe. If you have blocks, you can always use those for a bit more height. And you can also bring your arms up to your knee if that's more comfortable. We're here for approximately one more big breath. And then slowly walk your hands back, extend that front right leg, and flex the toes up towards the ceiling and back towards your face. Finding this sort of half pyramid pose. We say half because the back knee is bent, the full, half full. The whole would be extending both legs nice and tall. Same idea, both very doable. I prefer this one actually, nice and half. Keeping that back as straight as you can. Draw the chest down. So we're not quite rounding yet. We're not bringing the head down, we're bringing the chest down towards that shin. And take one more big breath here. Lowering the chest a little closer, maybe feeling a shake or tremble, and then fold, release over that leg. So any effort now is just in the legs. Hands can go wherever they need to stabilize and balance you. And then we'll slowly look forward, heel to toe, bring that foot back down to the mat. Lift the back knee and send it back, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your hands now, listen carefully, hands go back to the feet. So we're at the front of our mat facing backwards. Inhale, lengthen the spine, bend the left knee, and walk the hands over to the left. So right leg is straight, left knee is bent, and hands are over to the left bent knee side. Bring yourself back through center, bending both knees, straighten the left leg, and continue walking to the right side. So we're folding over the bent leg side, and we'll go back and forth a couple times, just alternating legs. Taking a couple breaths or maybe moving per breath. Just listen to your body here. Take this nice and slow. And the next time you come back towards your left side, keep going, pivot on the feet, turn your entire self back around to the front of the mat, plant the hands, step the feet back, find downward facing dog. Just for a second, bend the knees nice and wide, big toes touch, and child's pose. Let it all go. Slowly bring yourself back up to all fours. Bring the knees together, swing the feet over to the side, and come onto your left or right hip. I'm on my left, so I'll just instruct that way. We will be doing both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you start on. Left shoulder over left wrist, press up nice and tall. If you have a block and your wrist is really bothering you, feel free to bend the elbow for this first one and bring it onto a block, whatever height is the most stable for you. I'm going to keep my hand up. Reach for one of your weights, again, this is optional, and bring it to your hip. So now take a moment to align your body. We're looking for wrist, hips, and heels in line. Knees are going to point forward. Keep the feet right on top of each other and the knees right on top of each other. So kind of a weird pose here. If you're familiar with clamshells, it's going to look a lot like that pose there because that's what we're doing. Feel free to extend the right arm, bringing that weight down close to the knee, not necessarily right on it, just down, still on the side of the thigh. Press the ground away, and then lift the right knee and lower. Keep the feet sides, the blades of the feet, or the inside edges of the feet glued together, and we're lifting and lowering just that top leg. A little bit slower, moving with your breath, moving with control, and trying not to tilt the hips back. So trying to keep your entire body super static, just the knee is lifting, hinging at the feet like a door hinge. I'll do one more, and release that down. Draw the weight back up to your hip, and place it down in front of you. And bring your left elbow down to the ground if it's not already. And from here, pressing into your legs are as they are, lift and lower. My apologies, back the knees up a little bit. There we go. Lift the hips and lower. One more time, lift the hips and lower. So this is a lot in that left shoulder. Take a break anytime you need. And now option to grab that weight. I'm going to lift, keep the hips lifted, press the ground away from us with that left grounded shoulder. And we'll reach that right arm up nice and high, really, really opening. If you want to take this a bit farther, you are welcome to do full side plank. But this is quite a challenge as is. Keeping that wrist strong, lift, press your body away from the ground. Exhale, bring the arm down and under, finding a little twist. Inhale, lift, keep those hips drawing forward. 2, and just one more. 3, draw that wrist underneath the body, lift the weight up, lower the hips nice and slowly. Bend through the elbow, 90 degrees, drawing the elbow down to the hip, and release the weight down. So we're taking careful precautions there. Now weight should be about midway through. You can send it back a little farther, and we'll flip over to the other side, send your legs through center. So again, option to have that block. We're now on the right hip or the opposite hip to what you started with. Wrist, hips, and heels in line to start. Pressing that away. Reach for that weight. Like we did our rows, bend the elbow, draw the weight in through center, up to your hip. And then we'll slide it down to just before the knee. Glue the inside of your feet together so they're like a door hinge. Keep yourself nice and strong here. You can always put a block behind your hips. If you knock it over, you've gone too far. And we'll lift that front top left leg and lower. So we're clamshelling here. Find your breath with this, nice and slow, controlled movements. Try not to sink into that front shoulder, really press the ground away. Keep the breath nice and steady. So we're using the weights here for different kinds of movements, more Pilates-like. I'll do about 2 more clamshells here, lifting and lowering that weight as an option, just really intensifying the gravity and the pressure. Last one, release that. Draw the weight up back to center, lock that shoulder in nice and strong, release it down to the middle. All right, come down to your elbow if you're not already. Slide your feet back a bit so your knees are a little bit more in line with your hip and elbow. Lengthen up, press the ground away, so lifting the side, we're gonna lift the hips 3 times, so lift and lower, getting into that shoulder, lift and lower. Last one, lift and lower. All right, reach for that weight if you like it. Lift the hips, press the mat away, reach that arm up nice and tall. We're gonna do 3, getting into our obliques. So 3, 1, bend under, twisting under, weight goes under that right side, lift, 2, you got this, lift, and last one, 3, feel that in your side, lift, exhale, bring the hips down, bend the elbow 90 degrees, drawing that nice and safely down, bringing the weight all the way to the mat. Should be at center, feel free to push that weight up towards the front of the mat, and we're gonna swing through on our hips, back for our final weighted option before we release in some really gentle poses. Come on to all 4s. Might be feeling that in your shoulders. We're going to get into the back tricep here. So finding all 4 tabletop here, nice and strong, jelly belly button in, reach for that weight on the right side, and we'll draw the elbow up, pin it in nice and strong, and instead of a row-like movement, we're going to move the arm long. So we're going to extend through the arm. Pack that shoulder, squeeze those shoulder blades, draw the belly button in, extend the arm behind you, extend, extend, and bend. Just your elbow is a hinge. Keep that shoulder packed tightly. 1 more. And release, bring that down. We'll switch it to the other side, left side. So again, approximately the same as we did on that side. I forgot to count, but I did about 8. We'll do about 8 on this side as well. So we're draw the elbow up, pack it into the side, squeeze the shoulder blades together, neck nice and long, an extension of the spine, and extend the right arm nice and long. 1, 2, belly button in, 3, 4, lengthen the spine. 5, getting into those triceps. 6, 7, last one, and 8. Release the weight down to the side. Feel free to widen the knees or keep them together. Send the hips back. Child's pose. Let your arms come down by your feet this time. Really release through the shoulders. And maybe rock your forehead on back. Extend your arms out front if they're not already. And walk yourself up to a comfortable seated position of your choosing. All right, give yourself a little wiggle through the shoulders. Let that all go. Whew. All right. Let's draw the hands forward. And now hug the shoulders back. So just like we did before, we're gonna pack them back. So pack them back. And then extend them out, reach them out so you feel a rounding, separating your shoulder blades. Reaching, then draw them back. And extend, so the only real action here is through the shoulders. Feeling those shoulder blades, pinch a pencil, and happily release it. One more, and we'll stop when they're extended. So reach out, palms face the ground. Take your right arm under the left, crossing approximately at the elbows. And if you can, bend 90 degrees and find eagle arms. If this is not within your range of motion, feel free to just grab opposite elbow or shoulders. So reaching, right arm is under, coming up into nice eagle arms, or grabbing opposite shoulders. So what we have been doing all of class is we have been packing those shoulder blades back for stability. And now we want to release that. So we're going to separate. This is a wonderful way to find space in the back body. And just breathe into this. If you can't quite get your palms together, or you're feeling your pain or pinching, feel free to just bring the backs of the palms together too. It's a great way to start towards your twist. All right, one more breath. Inhale through the nose. As you sigh it out, release the arms, open them wide. We're going to take this to the other side. So left arm comes under this time. Cross at the elbows if you can. Palms together. If not, back to the palms, or grab those opposite shoulders. We're just trying to separate the shoulder blades. So any way that works in your body. If you do have the eagle arms, and if you are anywhere in these poses, just lift the elbows. So the more you sink, the less you separate. And we're trying to get more separation towards the bottom of those shoulder blades there. So lifting the elbows, you'll feel a greater stretch, a greater opening across the back. Breathe into this. Maybe close your eyes and feel the movement that your breath creates in your shoulders as you breathe through this posture. Last breath, and we'll sigh out the exhale and release the arms. Exhale, sigh, release. Let those arms go back. Give a couple shoulder shrugs to really let that go. All right. Now take your arms, reach them up again. And exhale, bring them down. If you are sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch your cross, putting the other foot in front. Inhale, lift those arms up again. Exhale, back down. We're gonna squeeze those shoulder blades together. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Bend the right elbow, and we'll take the left hand to the right elbow. You can reach down your back. And if you'd like a bit more of a stretch, you can always take that right hand below and join your hands. Right now, since we don't necessarily have a strap, feel free to just use your alternate hand to help reach down if you can't reach arms yet or hands yet. And then feel a nice stretch, a nice release in the tricep. One more breath here. And we'll release, reach the arms up and bend the other arm, taking this to the opposite side. Again, feel free to do your, I think it's mariachi bind, or just use your hand for now, keeping it simple, really targeting that left tricep. And don't forget to breathe. Notice if you're back bending in this pose, And see if you can bring a little bit more straightness and stability to the spine, engage the abdomen, protect that lower back. One more breath here, and on your exhale, release the arms up and let them come all the way down to your sides. In your seat, release your legs forward. Give a little wiggle to them. And then find a slight bend of the knees. Flex the toes up towards you. So knees should be off the mat. Lengthen up through the spine, nice and tall. And then start to slide your hands down your legs, giving yourself a little massage. And wherever you'd like, you can stop them. And now lengthen your spine, draw your chest forward. So we're trying to keep our spine as straight as we can. Just as we talked about with packing the shoulders, you can do that again here to help with a straight spine. And tuck the chin. On your next exhale, draw the chest a little closer forward. And when you can go no farther, just stop and breathe there. One more breath in this nice active forward fold. Feeling this more perhaps in the spinal column or in the back, perhaps in the lower delts. Try and keep that straight back. And on your next exhale, give a great big sigh out and just flop over the legs. Feel free to extend the legs, lengthening them out if that's comfortable. Else keep that bend in the knees and just find a forward fold. Last breath here. And then slowly, slower than you want to, at least 3 full breath cycles, roll your spine up to a tall seat. Reach for your weights. Bring them back with you, so they'll be at around your elbows again, within reaching distance. And take your time, lower yourself down to the mat. If you'd like extra layers or a blanket on top of you now would be a great time. Coming into our final Shavasana, flex the toes up towards the ceiling. And we have the weights here now as options. There's a few things you can do. You can take them and you can put them on your hip creases or on the tops of your thighs. Alternatively, I really like to have one on my belly. I find I hold a lot of tension there, and so feel free to do that. And if your weight is so comfortable, you can also put one on your chest or you can put them on your shoulders. It depends on how rolly they are. But those are just really nice places to add some weight to ground you into the mat. So in this case, I'm just going to take one. I'm going to place it on my lower abdomen. And then let your palms face up. Flex those toes up towards the ceiling. Tuck the shoulder blades under. Tuck the chin to extend the spine. Send the heels back. Inhale through the nose and hold. Exhale, sigh it out and relax the whole body. Inhale one more time through the nose. Hold. Exhale, sigh it out, relax the whole body. And let yourself sink. Relax through the toes. Relax through the sole of the foot. The top of the foot. Relax the ankles. Relax the calves. Relax the shins. Relax the hamstrings, the back of the legs. Relax the quadriceps, the top front of the legs. Let your hips be heavy. Relax and release through the abdomen, through the lower back. Let go through the lower ribs. and the middle back. Exhale, tension away from the chest. And release the shoulders. Relax the shoulder blades. And release through the upper arms, the biceps, and the traps. Release the elbows. Relax your forearm, palm, and fingers. Relax the neck, the front of it, and back. Let tension drip off and away from your ears, from your jaw. Let your lips part and the tongue just relax in your mouth. Release the tension around your eyes, around the eyebrows, and between the eyebrows. Let your eyes sink back in their sockets and let their lids still. Relax and release the forehead and let go the crown of the head. Let go of your breath and let any thought come by just be labeled as thought and let it drift on by to be dealt with later. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. However, if you are ready to move again, find a little movement through the fingers. Bring the pointer finger to touch the thumb tip, and then the middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Slowly wiggle through the fingers and maybe include the toes. If you have any weights on you, feel free to gently remove them to the side. And then reach up overhead, take a giant stretch, send the heels back or the toes, whichever feels better for your body. Maybe shift the hips, reaching. And when your next exhale comes, give a great sigh, let the arms come back. Do that again, inhale, reach and extend. Exhale, arms come back to your side. Last one, inhale, reach and extend. Biggest breath in yet. Pause at the top. Exhale, sigh it out. Bend the knees slowly. And then send the knees to one side and roll over to your left or right, whichever you prefer. Take a breath here. And then slowly make your way up to seated before you fall asleep. If you're still lying on your back, feel free to join us just for this close, lying there nice and long, or sitting upright. Let's bring our palms together. Bring them to your forehead, to your lips, and then to your chest. May our thoughts, our words, and our actions be filled with presence, peace, and strength. Bow your head towards your hands and thank yourself for coming out to practice again, for taking this time for you to move, to settle the mind, and to practice strength. Slowly blink the eyes open if they are closed.